Hey, welcome back, troops, to Let's Tab 59. Where are we today? Well, I'm out on the sand dunes, walking on the sand, tabbing through sand, making me a little bit out of breath. I've still got the man flu, and I'm a little bit out of breath, so I'm going to pull over here. Let's go by these rocks somewhere, a little bit more sheltered. So, yeah, 4 mile tab. The light's fading now, so I thought I'd make the video and then tab back over and call it a day for today. So, another one today, a little bit again about Northern Ireland, but slightly different. So, what we're going to talk about is the Sangars. Now, for those of you who don't know what Sangars basically are guard towers that we had out in Northern Ireland, and these Sangars, these guard towers, were dotted around all the security force bases, all the army bases, and the Royal Ulster Constabulary bases as well. So you had these towers, these Sangars, various constructions. Some were on one level. You had the great big super Sangars, the ones you might have seen down in South Armagh, Crossmaglen, on the border, those sort of areas, with huge amounts of surveillance equipment bolted onto them, cameras, locating equipment, the equipment that would locate enemy shots. So if the Sangar come under fire, it could detect where the gunshots had come from. God, it's getting a bit windy. Let's get in here, see if we can get some shelter from the wind. So, and then the other extreme of the Sangars, you'd have, especially in the early days out there, small scaffolding erected type Sangars with sandbags and a little wrinkly tin roof, maybe some sandbags on it, open to the elements sometimes. So that's the two extremes, everything in between. And you'd go up there typically on your stag, it's your guard shift, your stag we call it. You go up in your Sangar for about 2 hours. You'd be up there with your personal weapon, maybe a pair of binos, maybe a night sight at night time, just keeping an eye on things in the area. And the other Sangars we had, that are a little bit different maybe, were the ones around the Maze prison, Longkesh. So the Maze, originally it's called Longkesh, then it became the Maze, HMP Maze, and that housed paramilitaries who've been detained, arrested, from all different factions, both sides of the divide. And these towers were quite big, quite substantial, big ladders inside going up to them. They had glass, you had a little bit of shelter obviously in those. And you'd be overlooking the prison and obviously overlooking the roads around the prison, etc. And you've got to try and stay switched on for 2 hours in these Sangars on your own with nothing, You couldn't really sneak a radio in. I know some people did, but most of the time you was checked to make sure you got nothing that you shouldn't have up with you to distract you, like a book or something. But people did sneak stuff in the towers ultimately, in the Sangars, and try and make their 2 hour shift a little bit more comfortable. So you do your 2 hours up there, you come down, go back to your sort of base location for 4 hours, and then back up again for another 2. And it was quite soul destroying in the Sangars. Also, down at the Crumlin Road in West Belfast, on the Crumlin Road, there was a jail down there, HMP Crumlin, and a very old Victorian style jail. I think it's a museum now. But there were Sangars dotted around that, and there was one particular Sangar at Crumlin, I think it was Sangar 10 it was called, and it sort of went off on a leg out from the main prison, and there's a walkway, a narrow walkway that was covered with like wrinkly tin both sides and some netting on top to stop stuff coming over, and that screening was really like a sniper screen, I suppose. It wasn't bulletproof by any means, but you walked up there, and if you walked up there nice and quietly, no one knew you was walking up to your Sangar, and so you couldn't get shot at or attacked. So that was out on the limb, and that was quite an interesting Sangar. That I think it's a 2-man tower, that Sangar 10, and you'd stag on up there with your mate, and that one was sometimes did get a little bit of action and take a few pop shots at you at Sangar 10, and maybe throw a few stones, etc. at you, but that was one of the more lively Sangars at Crumlin anyway. Now, also with Sangars, I never had experience of this, guys, right? But it was rumoured that there were certain young ladies of the night that would hang around these sangars and maybe give some form of comfort to the soldier that was within it. And these ladies, if you want to call them that, were nicknamed Sangar Bangers. What a title, Sangar Banger. Well, I don't know how true it was. I only heard rumours. If any of you have heard of Sangar, got any experience, no names, no factuals, if you've got any experience of Sangar Bangers, I'd love to hear a little story or two about a Sangar Banger. Either you had direct experience or someone that you know, a friend of a friend's told you about one. Anyway, there's a little bit about Sangars in Northern Ireland and what that was all about. Dotted everywhere. Everyone that went out there probably had some experience. Every camp, every security force base that had where your main gate was coming out of the security force base, that would always have a Sangar there. And that guy's job, apart from just normal guarding, was every time a patrol went out, foot patrol or mobile patrol, he would be really at the alert, because obviously that's a vulnerable time. When soldiers are leaving the base on foot or in mobile, then those gates have got to open to let the troops out, and that's when something could happen, a chute could open up on them. So the guy up in the Sangar over the main gates was really giving you a bit of overwatch and hopefully a bit of cover if it kicked off. So that's a little take on Sangars. I'm sure you've got some stories. You veterans, you Northern Ireland veterans out there, will have some stories of Sangars. But of course, Sangars weren't just used in Northern Ireland. They were used in Afghanistan and in Iraq. There was Sangars everywhere. So you might even have some stories, some of you younger guys, from Sangar duty in Iraq or Afghanistan. And I bet it was a bit more spicy in Iraq and Afghanistan with contact drills rather than they were in Northern Ireland. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. It would help me out. I'm doing all right. You're really helping me out, guys, and the comments are fantastic. A few thumbs ups as well. So I hope you're all well and fit. I'm still got the man flu, but I'm getting there. I'll bounce back. Until the next time, troops, let's tap.